For the first of 2 heats, the backstrokers are in the water here at the start end. In lane 3, that's Long Point. Lane 4 is the Country Club. Lane 5 is Hobcaw. Lane 6 is Legend Oaks. Lane 7 is the Somerville Y. And in lane 8, that's Chamelon.
All right, the order of the relay this morning: backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, freestyle.
And the Country Club off to a strong start. The transition into breaststroke. You cannot leave the wall before you touches the wall. If you do that, it's a false start. And your team will be disqualified as Long Point is taking over the lead just barely.
And David mentioned that false start. You definitely want to have a safe relay start. Play it safe, especially for the younger kids. Adrenaline is going, heart is racing. Wait till that swimmer touches the wall before you dive.
It is Long Point at the halfway point. Long Point at 48.96.
Here we go on the butterfly leg. So the mixed medley relay is the only time we'll have boys and girls swim in the relay together. From here we go on to individual events.
Individual events, and then the final relay will be separate, girls and boys in the freestyle relay. And now it's the Country Club going in ahead of Long Point. The way this works is these are timed finals, so each relay has a chance to contend for city titles, but these are teams seeded 11th through 16th. All but 2 teams in the CCAA have entered this relay. And this will be the Country Club setting the time to beat at 132 point something. Times are not official on the scoreboard here. 131.96 is the time to beat for the Country Club. 0.91, I should say. Second place is Hobcaw at 133.97. And those times aren't expected to make an impact on the top few places, but certainly a chance to place top 10.
As we get ready to start the second heat, there are 6 relays today doing some score checking here. Daniel Island is the top seed in 4 of those 6 relays. Like we talked about earlier, it doesn't always pan out the way the seeds go.
Exactly, and Daniel Island only seeded first by less than a half a second ahead of Snee Farm here. It looks like, I think the relays might take a little longer than the individual events, Tara, because they have to walk the swimmers out separately, and it's really hard with these bulkheads because there's not a lot of space on that bulkhead, so I think they're waiting. They haven't walked anyone up yet, it looks like.
So what David's referring to is in the 7-8 age group, swimmers do a 25. So whether that's an individual event, a 25 is 1 length, or a lap, as we call it in swimming. So for the relay, each swimmer does a 25. So our backstroker, the first swimmer, starts from the block end in the water. Our second swimmer, the breaststroker, starts from the bulkhead end, which is that narrow white divider that you'll see.
Yeah, there you see the bulkhead. It's pretty narrow. This is a 50-meter pool with 2 bulkheads, and the pool is currently set up for 25 yards. So that bulkhead is where the 7-8 swimmers will dive from in all of their individual events, and also the second and fourth swimmers on the relays. The first 2 swimmers will go from the blocks. All of the older swimmers in all their individual and relay events will dive off the blocks.
David mentioned earlier that this is the 55th CCAA City Meet Champs. That means, if I'm doing the math right, we started in 1968.
Missed one, remember?
Yes. Checked with Eric Koitner, who is the meet director, and asked him what teams are here today that were participating back in 1968. He could only think of 2, Northbridge Terrace, Killer Whales, and West Ashley, and then Hobcaw.
Really?
The Marlins over Mount Pleasant, because, I mean, I know Snee Farm wasn't built until the late 70s. You know, a lot of these neighborhoods, maybe they were built. So if you disagree, if we are wrong in our facts, please comment on Facebook, text David Reeder. I feel like he has all the swim knowledge, and I just perplexed him. I'm proud to do it.
I didn't know that one. That's pretty impressive as we are getting set up here for our final heat.
So again, if you're watching at home and taking a coffee break and just fried eggs between these 2 heats, we won't have this much of a break between. So go ahead and get your coffee, use the restroom, because it will move much quicker once we get this down pat.
This is heat 2 of the 7-8 100-yard mixed medley relay. In lane 1 is Shadow Moss. In lane 2 is Ashboro. Lane 3 is Northbridge. Lane 4 is North Charleston. Lane 5 is Daniel Island. Lane 6 is Snee Farm. Lane 7 is Park Shore. Lane 8 is Newington. Lane 9 is James Island, and in lane 10 is Crowfield. And this is down here at the bottom. We have Ashboro off to a quick start, just ahead of Northbridge. Ashboro is going to hit the wall just ahead of Northbridge. Park Shore there as well. And remember, these leads are going to change as we go over the course of the relay. Northbridge looking good, Park Shore looking good. The middle lanes are behind right now. We'll see how that changes over the course of this race. Ashboro still there. Ashboro and Northbridge as we hit the halfway point. Ashboro first in lane 2, followed closely by Northbridge. And we're on to the butterfly leg. Snee Farm looking good there in the middle. North Charleston and North Charleston and Daniel Island, I should say, are trailing the field right now.
Third swimmer for Daniel Island. I think that's Finn Gaston. He is having a wonderful butterfly leg. Daniel Island is back in this race.
Northbridge is first, but it's really close here as we go to the freestyle. Anyone's race. Snee Farm, Daniel Island, and North Charleston. Park Shore a little bit behind. North Charleston coming through, maybe in the middle, but it's really, really close as we come to the wall. Snee Farm? It is Snee Farm, followed by Daniel Island, North Charleston, and Northbridge. 120.93, the winning time there for Snee Farm. Second place, second place was North Charleston at 121.03. Third was Daniel Island, 121.09, followed by Northbridge and Ashboro. The top 4 teams, all faster than the fastest seeded time.
And the top 3 teams separated by 16/100ths of a second. So that is pretty fast. If you have your iPhone out and press start stop really quickly, you probably can't even stop it that quickly. That's how close that race was. Awesome job to those swimmers.